Well, isn't this great? I'd like to start off with a business prayer for tonight, one of Peter's lines. Abundance is not about providing everyone on the planet with a life of luxury, rather than it's about providing everybody with a life of possibility. End of prayer. Thanks, Peter. I'd like to acknowledge Jennifer Grossman, as Jay did, amazing person, CEO of the Atlas Society. As I was writing my speech, I asked her to edit it. I understood she was a former presidential speechwriter. She kind of came back with some linguistic words. I had no idea what they were, so it's a little bit above my pay grade, so Jennifer, I've kind of toned it down a bit. So as every good introduction goes, I'll talk about me. I was an 18-year-old working on the Alaska oil pipeline, and I chose to read the top 100 most influential books of all time. And number one for me that stood out was Atlas Shrugged. Yeah, exactly. The book inspired what has been my vision, my purpose in life, and that is elevating the world from a place of mediocrity to greatness. And what I got out of the book was individual creativity, love of people, and a bold vision. Now, over the decades, while I was building, and thank you for the introduction, the surf, skate, snowboard, and yoga business, there was another small operation starting up, and it was a nonprofit called the Atlas Society. And this society, what I love about it is it's really working to introduce young people to these same thoughts and values with the same thing that I got out of reading the book. I enjoyed getting to know Jay, who you just saw up on the screen. I climbed the Grouse Mountain with him, and I also have done that with Joe from Spartan Group, if he's here. Hi, Joe, if you're here. So while accepting the award last year in New York, I was blown away by the event, and especially the such a professional run event run by a very few number of people inside the Atlas Society. I enjoyed meeting all the individuals as I have tonight, and I actually enjoyed listening to Gloria Alvarez, who was the keynote speaker last year. So for tonight, when I was asked who to recommend as this year's honoree, as Jay said, there was only one person that I hold as iconic, and that's Peter Diamandis. Hey, Peter. I'm not done yet, though. I first met Peter in Vancouver on the steps leading up to the TED conference. My friend was pushing me. He says, "You've got to meet this guy. He's making the most amazing difference in the world." Now, if you've been to the TED conference in the past, that wouldn't be like, there's a lot of people there that have made some big changes and some big moves in the world, and so that wasn't that much different. But to give you an idea, I've stopped going to the TED conference now, which really is doing nothing but depressing me about the state of the world. And now I only attend Peter's ACE 360 conference, which really focuses on the amazing world we live in and how converging technologies are the driver for greatness. And it's a beautiful thing. So even though I was born in Southern California, I was raised in Canada, and I kind of caught that disease of the British understatement. To overtly praise somebody is kind of considered insulting. In the British system, the more a person is hyped, the less they seem to be. At the end of the day, if I've said too much about Peter, it will still be an understatement. Peter's the son of Greek immigrants, growing up in the Bronx, and like Ayn Rand, knew what it was what he wanted to do from a very early age. At 8 years old, mesmerized by the Apollo moon landing, he knew he wanted to pursue space exploration, and at the age of 12, won first place in a competition for building a rocket launch system. In the process, he came close to blowing himself and his house up. Now, you'd think, okay, well, that's maybe an anomaly, but it's not. I just finished reading the top 100 books of biographies in the world of people that have really made a difference in the world, and there seems to be a consistent thread of those people blowing things up at a young age. Now, if you don't know much about Peter and his background, he has a bunch of pillars on converging technologies, but one of them that he really focuses in on is longevity and the health, and he's out to expand his life by 30 years, and aren't we all? I'd like to suggest, if you've never read the book, The 100-Year-Old Man that Stepped Out the Window, an amazing book. But I feel that this book honors Peter by concluding that longevity and explosives do go together. I like that line. Fortunately for the world, he survived and went on to pursue studies at MIT and Harvard. And while a student, founded the Students for the Exploration and Development of Space, and became the managing director of the International Space University. This is a quote I actually got from Landmark. Anyway, it's what sums Peter up for me is that performance only occurs with action, and Peter's a man of action. Peter just didn't dream of going to outer space. He just didn't think it or study it. He did it. Other people didn't make it happen. Peter made it happen. Let's talk about the X Prize for a bit. Peter's career as a pioneer of both commercial spaceflight and genomic therapies include many highlights, but probably one of the most impressive is the X Prize. It's a fund, $10 million fund, and it's to incentivize competition intended to inspire a new generation of private passenger-carrying spaceships. I like this because Peter actually, he stole the idea, but let's be clear on that. But what I loved about what Peter did about it is he made it replicable, which is how all great fortunes are made. By making the X Prize and the way he made it replicable, it's a tough word for me. It's a tough word. He made the impossible possible by inspiring man's competitive nature to find solutions with speed. That first X Prize was won by the Mojave Aerospace Ventures, a team run by aviation designer Burt Rutan and Microsoft co-founder Paul Allen. The winning vehicle, Spaceship One, now hangs in the National Air and Space Museum, adjacent to the Spirit of St. Louis. Actually, that'd be a great place for the Atlas Society Gala next year. So in addition, it would be. In addition to, space, but the X Prize doesn't stop there. And Peter, also with the environment and health and education. So it's a really neat operation, this X Prize. And I personally am going to get very vested in it and talk to Peter soon about it. So possibly another X Prize, what I'd like to partner to encourage the advancing of Atlas Shrugged and the awareness of it. And possibly in a bizarre display of conflict of interest, Peter would probably win it. I got that. But if an Atlas Shrugged X Prize sounds like a crazy idea, and this is one of Peter's great lines, before something is a breakthrough, it is a crazy idea. Singularity University. Peter's a co-founder. With this then is the purpose of exploring how exponential technologies and other market forces will create a world of abundance and raise living standards. It's a great, great goal, more like a vision. Peter's mindset of abundance has reframed the thinking of the best and brightest minds of the world. I know that the Atlas Shrugged Society, I think it's called the Atlas Society's book club, has as key reads Peter's three books, and if you haven't read them, absolutely essential. Abundance, Bold, and The Future is Faster Than What You Think. I was kind of laughing to myself when I was reading The Future is Faster Than What You Think, because I can imagine like you're writing a book and then you're trying to get it published, and you're trying to get it published before the things that you've envisioned are going to come to fruition. So anyway, let's go ahead. So anyway, I actually think that maybe Peter's next book, and I think it is viable, is that something like The Future is I don't know, the future is better than what you think, right? Because I think that's really where you shine. When we think of the world that our children will inherit, including the beautiful twin boys I know that Peter has with his wife Kristen, and all the students that are here tonight, and the people that the Atlas Society touches globally, Peter paints a wonderful future. The young people here today would be well served to follow Peter's teaching and actively shape their mindset. Mindset is the key word. Their mindset with conscious choices about the people they spend their time with and the media they consume. At a time when young people are being taught that socialism is the answer, Peter reminds us of 4 things. Entrepreneurs, not government, can create a better world. The world's biggest problems are the world's biggest business opportunities. The best way to become a billionaire is to help 1 billion people. And the best way to predict the future is to create it yourself. How am I doing so far, Peter? Good? You're going to have nothing to say. So to the youth that don't socialize, the big suggestion here is don't socialize with socialists. Surround yourself with winners. It will be inevitable that the leader, I'll forget that line, it won't work for me. Sometimes I just blow it. So anyway, let's get this summed up here. To me, Peter is a modern day Isaac Asimov or Robert Heinlein or Ayn Rand. But instead of writing about the future and waiting for others to make it happen, Peter cut out the middleman and went vertical. Peter envisions the future, writes about it, and then creates the foundations to develop his crazy ideas. At a time when the media is projecting negativity, fear, and division, Peter insists, we are living in the most extraordinary time in human history. Love it. By nearly every metric, the world is improving, and we can be a catalyst for further improvement. Peter, we want to thank you for all you've done to create an abundant future that isn't here yet. To the person who has reset the parameters of what it is to be creative, bold, exponential, and great, a person named by Fortune as one of the world's 50 greatest leaders, and I hope I've not oversold you, please join me in honoring Peter with the Atlas Society Lifetime Achievement Award. Thanks, Peter.